Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Decipher the Media podcast. This is episode number 20 with Simran Kaur. She is joining me from all the way from London. So, first international guest on the podcast. We connected up via video chat where we talked about a lot of good things, and she's a very awesome creative individual that I had met through seeing her social media projects or her projects on social media. She posts a lot of her stuff on Instagram, so if you get a chance, go check her stuff out. I'm going to have the link here in the description. Definitely check that out. So Simran does a lot of interesting photography and creative projects that are it's just really cool, and always takes on a bit of a still life approach, and also includes a lot of surrealism. So we talk a lot about her projects that focus on those things in particular. And then she also talks a lot about her process in creating these projects, which involves a lot of a balance between researching and experimenting to sort of come to the end goal, or the final product. So a lot of just a lot of great advice for anyone who is out there who, you know, is a creative, is an aspiring creative. Even someone who's a veteran might find some good information from this to take away. And then we also talk about how to sort of decipher the feedback that you could receive from your projects, and how that affects you, and how to sort of distinguish between positive feedback and toxic feedback, and to just, you know, knowing what is good feedback and what is feedback that you should probably just ignore altogether. That's more of an attack on you personally than it is a critique on your project. So we talk a lot about that as well. And then finally, we discuss a lot about social media, and how social media affects us, how we get stuck in that loop of scrolling through social media, and, you know, how that can turn into a time waster, and also how you can use social media to your benefit. So we talk a lot about her, and she talks about you know, her personal experiences with that, and how some recent experiences led to her thinking differently, in a different way, about social media. So it was a really awesome conversation, and I was so happy that she was able to come on to to connect with me on the podcast to talk about this stuff. This is part 1 of 2 as well. So there's going to be another episode with Simran in the future. So be on the lookout for that. This is going to be just the first part, which covers about the first hour of our discussion. So without further ado, this is Decipher the Media, episode number 20 with Simran Kaur. Enjoy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have an official introduction or anything like that. So, let me see. So we were just talking about, you know, where or what your kind of like your plans are. So what are you going to school for currently?
So I go to the East London University,
Okay.
and well, I just do photography, and I'm a second year student. So yeah, I'm mainly specialized in still life and product photography. but I do also do some illustration
Mm-hmm.
and do some paintings, of course, just to find some inspiration for my photography. But I do also have like, mini projects for my illustration and
Yeah.
paintings. But yeah, I really want to focus more on my photography, so like still life and product. So maybe, one day I could work for small businesses because I like supporting them. So like with my
Yeah.
photography, I could help them. And yeah, I also like mainly still life because I want to showcase to people my perspective of still life. So like showcasing them how beautiful a piece of, I don't know, anything literally, like any object or piece of food can be. But you
Right.
don't actually see it because you don't see it from another type of perspective. It's like to create that perspective, you can either, style the object or style the stage you're gonna put the object in. So you just showcase the beauty of this single object or a multiple type of object that are put together in a subject,
Okay.
basically. I know it's quite hard to understand, but what I'm trying to say is that, well, I just want to showcase to people that still life can be beautiful, of course, and even like a simple object can be amazing.
Yeah. What would an example of like still? I've seen some of your stuff on Instagram and it's really good. It's
Thank
I love
you.
your work. And
Yeah, usually I try to tell a story or like share an emotion with my
yeah.
little project of photography by using still life. So right now, what I'm working on still life project called The Picnic I Never Had, which is about, well, a picnic I never had, of course. I mean, but yeah, because we are in a lockdown again, I need to cancel my plan, and my friend suggested, oh, we can of course go to the picnic, but why don't you do maybe a project about it? It could inspire you because I was already sad, and by talking to her, I was like, you know what, I might actually do it, but I needed to think how, and I just started playing around with Play-Doh and doing like
Yeah.
creating fake food with my brother. And I just started thinking, let me create some fake food and showcase in a dreamy way and surreal way, of course, because I am a surreal photographer and artist. And I just like playing with dreamy aesthetic and surreal perspectives. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I want to showcase my sadness through this project. So sometimes it's just an emotion I want to showcase how
Yeah.
this lockdown did affect me or something.
Um.
And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no, you go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Oh, I was gonna
I'm not sure
say.
about.
Have you ever done any studies on like postmodernism? Because it's really
Uh,
interesting. I don't. Sometimes they kind of overlap with surrealism a little bit.
Not for now, actually. I
Okay.
didn't actually do it. But yeah, I've been researching about surrealism, especially since I started university, I think. Because, well, before university, I didn't actually understand surrealism, if I want to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't specifically understand what it was. Like, I had this vague idea about it. I
Yeah.
knew who Man Ray was, but I didn't actually research about him because I don't know why, honestly. But then I started getting more interested in photography. And yeah, I just wanted to do photographers in university to study a bit more about photographers, or like research my style, learn some techniques and such. And yeah, I mean, I just started researching about Man Ray, which is a surrealist photographer, and I really got like inspired from him, especially from his photography that showcased the tear glasses. Oh, sorry, tear glass. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really bad at pronouncing sometimes when I get nervous,
Oh no,
especially.
you're fine.
But yeah, I just got inspired from him, and then I got inspired from Irving Penn and many other photographers actually. I did also get inspired by Tim Walker, which I found out about um, probably in 2020, like the start of 2020, because I ordered some of his books were showcases like his work and such. And I did find a bit of surrealism, like that dreamy aesthetic I really wanted to to have, or like not like I possess, of course, but like to practice it with and to understand a bit more what is surrealism. Because yes, research can help you to understand what it is, like the basic of it, But if you want to look deeply in it, I think you just need to experiment with it. It's not just about researching photography. It's all about experimenting most of the time. Yes, you do your research, the basic one. But then if you want to understand the research, you need to practice, to experiment with whatever idea you have. Just don't, sit there and be like, oh, how I'm gonna do that? Why I'm gonna do that? Like question yourself over and over again. So usually what I do is plan, and then I just do a bit of research, not too much, because I found out that, well, personally, I don't know about other people, but for me, if I do too much research, I get stuck. I don't know what is the reason, but I just get stuck in my research. And I'll be like, okay, this is enough. Like how much research I need. Sometimes I do also interview people about how they feel in some specific, specific, I would say, situations or like emotions. So I can understand how I'm going to shoot, what I'm going to sketch for my shoot. And then I think about the process of styling the still life. But sometimes it can also be about styling the model, because as I say, I do also do creative photo shoots, but that happens only, I would say, once a month or something, or even less, because that just goes for fun for me. It's not my main thing. It's just something that I do to get inspired from my still life, actually, to like experiment, actually. But sometimes most of my creative portrait have a story, especially right now with the lockdown.
Yeah. So would you say like you try to create these things that evoke emotion? Is that sort of the basic gist of surrealism, or how would you describe it?
I would like, well, mostly I create actually project that showcase a story, like a story, sorry, a
Right.
story. So like a set of pictures that are set up properly, like composed properly to showcase a story. So like you can, okay, you can read the caption or something in the Instagram, but if I put the pictures like that on a wall, you're just going to interpret them.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
what I do is like compose them. So like usually do 6 images or 10, whatever they are, how many they are. And then I start thinking, okay, how I'm going to compose them to actually set them up and tell a story. And yeah, from that story, of course, then I want to give an emotion. And that quite of emotion I want to, well, to be inside the viewer. It's like to stay in there and to actually never forget about the project if you touch them. But if you didn't, I'm actually okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
In the end of the day. But yeah, for me, surrealism is about showcasing like unreal things, like how to make an object look unreal and not
Okay.
real anymore. So like you put a pencil on the table, it looks, pretty real. It's nothing, it's just a pencil you write with. But when it comes to styling, what I think about is how can, make it look unreal, a strange movement, something that doesn't make sense. So like posing there, like posing the pencil in the air or something,
Right.
posing the pencil inside a laptop, posing the pencil inside a lamp, or even, posing the pencil inside a vase or something like that. So like it's all about thinking strange things, because for me surrealism has always been about looking about things that look strange, that look unnormal, like you wouldn't find a pencil in a vase. It doesn't look normal. Why is it there? That's the
Yeah.
question. Like it's quite like a childish question. I understand that, of course, but for me, it's like this. Maybe for other people, it's not like this. I'm totally fine with it, of course. Um, but yeah, that's it. Really, like what is surrealism for me, and why I quite um I would say attracted to it, because I want, and I always will probably make things look quite strange, like dreamy and surreal, because I want people to enter this surreal state, this unreal state where they can find the emotions. And this unreal state for me is dreams in general. And dreams are connected, of course, to surrealism.
Hmm.
And I actually did find this in Man Ray by looking at his projects, because his project just reminds me of dreams sometimes. I'm not sure why. I never understood why I always looked for dreams in his projects, but it's probably because they look like some of them, they look quite dramatic to me. And they
Right.
remind me of some dreams I had, like mainly nightmares, I think. But yeah, I even like dreams. So I just look about dreams in surrealism and strange things. How can I make like look this object strange? How can I make it look like a story and animate it somehow by creating this project, photos.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I wish I could remember the dreams that I have. Like most of the time, I can't remember any of the dreams. I used to be able to like. I used to have very vivid dreams, and that were actually the inspiration of stories that I've written. But like nowadays, for some reason I can't remember dreams much anymore. But the,
Sometimes the best thing I think to do is record your dreams after you woke up. So like write it somewhere, even if
yeah,
it's just a bit.
that's what I
Uh,
hear. Yeah, the to just kind of write down what you just experienced. But
I just forget sometimes. It's
yeah.
quite
I
hard.
usually it's like I wake up and that's not the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, oh, I just want to sleep a couple more hours or something like that. But you know, um, uh, so have you ever done anything with like? Because I was thinking about, I don't know why I was thinking about this. I took a digital arts class in college, and we did like these surrealist stop motion things. Have you ever
Oh, stop
experimented?
motion. Yeah,
Yeah,
stop motion. I did experiment with stop motion, but it was, would say 2 months ago. It's
yeah.
not my thing,
No?
unfortunately.
Okay.
No, it's not my thing. But I did try to do it, like with objects, and it's quite like it was quite fun actually. I did enjoy it because it looks quite unreal. So what I did is put a piece of paper and then with the stop of motion, I just created like this piece of paper would transform into a lamp randomly. I don't know why I had this idea, but it was probably something for like experimenting, with just random idea I had at the moment to understand how stop motion work. And it looked quite, unrealistic
Hmm.
and just surreal, just something unreal. You can make, a lamp out of a paper. It's quite just random idea putting that, but yeah, I did try stop motion and it's quite nice actually, but I'm just not really into it, I guess.
Yeah, it's also like a lot. I remember it was a lot of work to do stop motion. It's just like you have to take a serious. Well, I took the hard approach when I did my project. Instead of doing photographs, I did drawings. So I was doing all these stop motion drawings in like Adobe
Yeah, that can be
Illustrator,
hard.
and
Yeah, that can be really
it
hard.
was it was so time consuming because I was drawing each individual, you know, image frame. So oh, it was a lot, but yeah, I saw some of the other projects, and it was really intriguing to me to see, what people come up with as, these surrealist ideas with stop motion and moving objects
Yeah,
that aren't.
mainly in stop motion, I did see people doing like surreal things. So you take a piece of paper. I have a piece of paper.
Yeah,
Okay, I have a piece of paper, and you just, usually a piece of paper, they do nothing. Well, think about it. Make it move like a car or something. So it does that sound or something. So I just,
right.
and then, something like that. And yeah, it's quite interesting for me, but it just didn't sparkle
Yeah,
inside me. It
yeah.
just
No, I
didn't grow.
yeah.
For now, I don't know what will happen in future, but it could. As I work a lot with still life, if one day someone asks me, "Can you do stop motion?" I think I can say yes because I did experiment a lot with it,
Yeah,
but like not like the drawing one, but mostly with still life and such.
right, right.
And yeah, maybe
Hmm.
when I have like some time and I want to have fun, I actually just do it.
Yeah,
That's
because that
it.
that is very time consuming. There are projects like that's a thing is like certain projects just take a lot more time to do, so
Of
you
course,
have to
yeah,
plan
yeah.
appropriately.
About
What's sort of your planning routine when you start a project, like with what do you do to get from the to the end product?
A planner.
Oh, okay.
No, okay, I will stop. I will stop doing this.
No, you're fine.
I just love cracking jokes. Okay, now I'm serious. Actually, I plan way too much.
Mm.
First of all, I believe I'm a workaholic. I do work too much. And I think this thing started probably at the end of my high school.
Mm.
And it's really bad actually for me because then I can't get breaks. But then I started, as university started, I was like, I need to get a planner because then I can, understand how I'm going to set up my photo shoots and stuff. So, okay, before when I didn't quite understand anything about photography, if I want to be honest with all of you. Of course, I mean, yeah, it always starts
Well,
like that,
yeah, you have to start somewhere, so.
And yeah, I was like, okay, I can do a project in 1 week. Yes, of course, Simran, in 1 week. Um, yeah, my project would turn out absolutely nothing nice, like nothing that would sparkle to me again in 1 year. So like most of the projects I did last year, well, actually not last year, I would say 2019 or 2020, something like that. They didn't sparkle. I actually forgot about them. But I believe the projects I'm doing right now, they do sparkle. And probably because I take my time now. Like now I have to do a photo shoot. And there was this photo shoot called Pause, which talks about anxiety. And I can't wait to post about it actually, or like showcase it to people because it's quite important to me as well. I myself, well, actually suffer from anxiety, but I don't actually showcase it because, as we know, not every symptom is showcased. Sometimes people just try their best to hide things they don't want to share with people, I think.
Yeah.
And well, I know that some other people, they showcase the anxiety and such. And I did interview people to understand how they feel whenever they're anxious because I didn't want this project to be only about myself. I wanted my projects to be also about other people, so like their emotions, and not just my emotions. Sometimes I was like, yeah, I really want to include, people around me in this project, and not just me, and that's it. So like stay in my bubble, go out of your comfort zone or something if you don't have like also inspiration, because I think that pushed me to actually do this project and take my time and understand like what is the importance of taking time doing your projects. Why do you do that? Well, I saw that by taking my time I actually created, well, this actually beautiful project because I had the interview with the project. So I think he gave it a story, actually, to each picture I created. And I used ice, and unfortunately, I have a small freezer, so I needed to take more time. So, like 1 month and a half or more month, like 2 months, something like that, it took me. Um, but yeah, but taking my time, I also understood, well, the importance of it, of course. But I also understood that if I didn't take my time, probably I wouldn't have, rethinked the project. So, like, rethinking about it. So, like, planning it again because I actually went back and sketched again my photo shoot because I didn't like the initial idea. I was like, no, this doesn't showcase anxiety, and it doesn't look that well. It doesn't look, presentable. So what happened after it actually made me happy because it just showcases it. I used eyes and toys to actually represent anxiety, and I also did use the interview to understand how I'm going to put the toys inside the eyes to showcase this type of anxiety people have. Or like, to also showcase like how it happened. And I also started using more light. I also started understanding shadows. Then I understood the importance of time. The importance of time for me was about thinking, like processing the things, sketching, and doing that and that. And in that, my planner came really helpful actually, because I started not overworking myself. I had more energy, and I started planning, each day what I would do. Okay, I'm gonna sketch that day, so tomorrow I will do the photo shoot. Then the next day I will edit, so I can also have some time to work out. I can also have time to, I don't know, chat with my friend, play with my little brother, or like, doing something else. I don't know, anything really, or like painting, because I like painting. But yeah, mostly my plan behind photo shoots come with this recipe time. Of course, from now on is always time for me. This is what I understood, luckily, in the end of 2020 and also start of 2021. And then, of course, there was research. Not too much research, because from what I understood, for me, too much research, well, it just blocks me from doing something. Brainstorm and mood board, because I need that. I need to understand why I'm doing it. What is the story? I need this. Is my need, I think. And I just be like, okay, so what are you going to try to tell the audience, the viewer, about this project? Why you do it? What you did, of course. It's like sharing the emotions behind it, or like the story and such, and just sketching it. How you gonna position each still life, or I don't know, the model, how you gonna dress her up or something. Because when it comes to creative portrait, of course you're just going to showcase her face sometime, but sometimes it's just also part of the body. They're going to see what she's wearing. And color and fashion is really important in photography, I believe. Not just fashion photography, but also like portrait one. Because if you want to showcase a specific emotion, so like, for example, you want to showcase, I don't know, sadness, I would rather use blue than green, of course, because blue showcases sadness. You want to symbolize something. And I quite like doing symbolism in my portrait creations. Because I just like working on it. And there's some really hidden symbolism in my portraits. I just don't tell people to, because I want the viewer to actually go and find them. What you see in there is not what I see in there. Yeah, it's actually always different. Like, it's perspectives, So yeah, I always tell my viewer to, like, don't listen to me first, but like try to view by yourself the work and see what you see in it. And then I will tell you what I did see in it and why I did create it. To see that different perspectives, understand different stories maybe.
Yeah, that's really awesome. What sort of do you get a lot of different responses from people who view your work? Like, is it very across the board, or does it seem to sort of come closer to the idea that you sort of have in your head?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And honestly, I'm fine with it. Because
Yeah.
as I said, we all have different type of perspectives towards things. Some people will believe, oh, that symbolizes, I don't know, love or something. And that person
Yeah.
would say, no, it symbolizes lust or something because it's red or something. When actually we all know that red can symbolize both. Of course, we
Right.
know that. And I mean, it just depends on people, I think. But yeah, I do get responses like, oh yeah, I really like your work, but I can't see the emotion. It was like that before, and I took it to myself. And if I need to be honest, I did cry about it once.
Oh.
I really want to tell about this because I think people should hear this. So look, this happened before university. It was my last year of high school. My teacher told me the truth. My work didn't sparkle an emotion. The work I presented for the final project. It was hard to take it, but you know what? She was right. Of course, this didn't decrease my grade. I got a B, which is good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind. Like, in the end of the day, remember, your grade doesn't represent you. What represents you is you and what you do actually. Um, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is just that what she said to me did make me sad. But then from there, I think I grew up because I understood that I didn't put any emotion in my projects. And that was, of course, my fault because I didn't plan anything in the right way. Like, how could I tell a story if I didn't put my emotion in it? Like, why I wanted to tell it. So it was like, I think my project was just pushed because I wanted to finish it. So like, just to get that grade, I think, at that point. And then I understood, okay, maybe you should stop focusing on the grade and start focusing more on the project. Like what
Yeah.
you want to showcase, an emotion, a story, something, Simran, just something. What is you? What is the project? And I started detaching myself, of course, from the project, because once you put it out there, it's not yours anymore. It's the person, it's the viewer's project. They're going to see it and they're not going to look at you like it doesn't symbolizes you. Most of the time, it's just symbolizes itself, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So like you just put the project on one side and you are at this other side. So like how people are going to take opinions about the project is not an opinion about you. It's about the project, it's not you. So this
Right.
is how you separate yourself from the project and not take it personally, as I did. And this is another thing I understood from a teacher. And I think I'm glad that my teacher did say that, even though I did cry, but that's fine, honestly. We all cried, don't we? I mean,
Yeah.
I just didn't understand this, and I'm lucky that I did. And also, my university teacher, she did say the same thing, not about the emotion thing that I didn't put it, but she did say you need to detach yourself from the work. Once it's out there, it doesn't, it doesn't symbolizes you. It's just your project, but it's not about you anymore. You're just telling a story with the project, and the viewer might not understand that is about you. Sometimes, okay, you might can state it in the project statement or something, but not everyone are going to read the project statement. They're going to see their own story in it sometime, it's like
Yeah.
their perspective about it.
Has their perspective ever changed like your idea of your own project? Like has
No.
no? Okay.
No.
Like I wasn't sure if like maybe because I think I've had this once or twice with my own projects. It's just like somebody tells me something that I've just never, it's like a completely different perspective on something, and I'm just like, wow, this like I've never looked at it this way before, and that's a really interesting way to kind of see things. So I wasn't sure if like maybe you've had that sort of similar experience.
No, I try my best to like, okay, to understand that person perspective, respect it.
Right.
But sometimes, okay, I do change my perspective of things, but not about my project, about things. So like political perspective, relationships perspective. So like understanding when a person is toxic. Because before I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand that, if that person would do that, that means he's toxic. No, I didn't know about that. And then once I understood it, I left my boyfriend because he was toxic and bunch of other people were toxic in my group of friendship as well, and I did needed to leave them. But about my projects, I don't think I ever changed my mind about them. So like actually saying yes, your opinion is right or something, I just say yes, it could be that, it could be that, because as I said, we detach ourselves from the project, so the project becomes about the audience or the viewer, and not about you anymore, actually. Yeah,
Hmm.
because yeah, just I mean, it's just like that for me, I think. But I remember that I think once I did change my own point of view towards my project, um, someone had pretty bad perspective about my project. It was like one of those jolly project, humoristic thing, but someone found it really controversial or something like that. And I was like, why? Like, I don't see anything, like that. And then he explained why he saw it like that. And I didn't still understand it. But then I acknowledged it actually. And I think he was just right. Like, I just didn't pose it in the right way. But then I was like, no, it's just the way he sees it. Your perspective shouldn't change. So I started stopping myself from changing my perspective about my project, because my project has his own idea
Right.
and he knows perspective. But what you're going to see is another perspective, and that perspective is about you. And your opinions are, your opinions, and of course, you shouldn't push them on other people.
Oh, that's great to hear. I really love hearing that from you. Just because it's I mean, I know from personal experience that I constantly beat myself up when I get like somebody's opinion that's not exactly 100% a positive opinion, but
Yes, it's really like, really, like, really.
yeah.
I didn't know that. But yeah, I've been there a lot of times, especially during the first year of university. And right now, I'm in my second year. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start the second part of my second year now, other 3 months, and then third years, and then of course I'm going to do my master's because I really want to
Okay.
actually study it properly and grow up in photography.
Yeah. What?
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I will continue. But what I'm trying to say is just that I've been there, and honestly, what happened is that yeah, I started thinking, yes, that is your opinion, but I have my own opinion, and that's fine, I guess. But I'm not going to try to change it. If I'm going to reshoot, to rethink, then yes, I would do that. So like, if that opinion is really like about I don't know the technique, like what else could I have done, or like experimenting a bit more, then of course I'm going to do experimenting a bit more because why not? I mean, experimenting will help you to grow,
Right.
so that's fine. Um, but yeah, I think after all those opinions, what happened is that I started giving sharper feedbacks to my friends in my university. So by that I mean that I started actually being more honest about the project. So like we give each other feedbacks when we showcase our project in university. We say whatever it feels like, what is what is that, what it means to us and such. But we also see the technique used. How was the framing? How is that? How is that? Sometimes the feedback can be really like hard to take. And I know some people that it's very hard for them to take. And unfortunately, I can't bring myself to like stop giving a sharp feedback. And I'm trying like softer myself to do that. But I think at the same time, I'm giving the honest opinion. And I think people do want to hear the honest one, and not just a
Yeah.
false one. Because I know that some people did give me like just a false one to make me happy in past, and that didn't help. That didn't make me grow up actually. That put me behind actually. And right now I just feel like I'm growing because people do give me like an honest like feedback about my projects, which makes me really happy. And this is why I started giving my honest opinions about projects, like what you could have done better and something like that. So like my honest opinions about that, what you could like do in future, not with the projects now, like change it or something, but like do it in future. So like try to experiment more, I don't know, with your film camera. For example, if you use your film camera, just do more experimenting if you don't understand how to use the exposure. Do more a bit of research if you stuck, or like you could even talk with someone who is better with a film camera and such. If you don't know how to style your still life or product, that's fine. You shouldn't be sad about it. Like it's all about a journey where you experiment with everything, like literally. Just experiment with everything. Okay, you might even have a style, honestly. Let's talk about that actually. We all have our own styles in photography, yes. But you shouldn't like just be stuck in it. Don't say to yourself, oh yeah, because it's my style or something. Yes, that's fine. You have your style. That's good. But try to also experiment out of your box, because otherwise you're going to have an art block. Trust me, it's just like that. Art block, or like photographer block or something like that, you could say. Um, it's just when you're stuck and you don't know how to do that, or like how to tell a story anymore. It happened to me actually, this photographer block, I would say. Like at some point I didn't understand how to tell a story with my project. It was hard, but yeah, I got there. So it's just a journey actually. It's long. I mean, it never ends. There is no end. And yeah, it ended. No, like it just means that you're going pension from photography or something. Like an old person. I
Yeah.
mean, you retired yourself from photography. No, there is no end in this journey. It's beautiful. It's long. It might be painful sometime, and that's fine. Of course, like you're going to cry sometime because some people are harsh with feedbacks, but they're trying their best to give you an honest one. They're trying their best to tell you the truth, to make you grow up. And the project is not about you. And I know it's so hard to take it in because I've been said many times because someone feedback was harsh. But then I understood, no, you shouldn't be sad because they're trying to make you grow up. Of course, then there are toxic feedbacks where people just want to, make you feel down. And then you can understand actually the toxic feedback. I remember talking about this with my teacher from an email. I did ask her what is a toxic feedback actually, because she did mention it one time, but I didn't understand it. And she replied with, oh, it's when basically they're just trying to talk about you, but they're not actually talking about the project. So like they're talking about the idea behind the project, but in a way that, well, how would I say it? That it just makes you feel awful or something. Just you can actually feel it when it's toxic, and it's not like talking about your project, but it's talking about you and saying, oh yeah, it's your fault or something.
Yeah.
That is toxic. Then you shouldn't listen to that, of course. Just close your eyes, don't get angry, please. And close your ears if you can. um but yeah, it's just quite hard actually to even understand when it's toxic or not. It's already hard to understand if it's like the true honest opinion of a person, because
Right.
sometimes they can even lie to you to make you just happy.
Yeah, that's another example is like I know from experience some people will just like give their opinion, like somebody who thinks they're trying to compete with you or something will just give an opinion just to make you feel like your project is not as good as theirs. Like I've gotten that in the past, and that's a very toxic trait, with a creative community. And I honestly, creative people should always build on each other, and they should always support each other. And
Of
if there's
course.
any sort of criticism, it should be constructive criticism, and
Yes,
never aimed in a way that's
yes,
meant to
of
put
course.
somebody down.
Yes, is always there to help you. Like, you know, I can't really explain it when it's toxic. It's already hard for my teacher to explain it when it's toxic.
Right.
But she said, you can understand it when it's toxic. Trust me, you can understand it. It's the way they say it.
Yeah.
Understand how they say it. Okay, sometimes they might not mean it. But remember that the way they say it, the tone, the words, and that's it. You just understand it from that. Toxic or not. If it's the
Yeah.
honest or they're just lying saying, oh yeah, he's beautiful and that's it. That of course is just okay, maybe it's beautiful, but tell me more, I don't know, something that I could, improve in future or something and such. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that really gets to me. It's I always like sort of I'll maybe send somebody a picture of something I'm working on or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, that's great." And I'm like, "But why? Like, why is it great? How can I improve on it? Like, can you give me a little bit more feedback than oh, that's cool, or something like that?
Yeah, I really hate when people do that as well. Like, I understand this for some people. I can actually understand when for some people it's hard to give a feedback because they either gave one ever or they just don't want to hurt you some way. And that's fine as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just gonna ask gently, just give me, a proper feedback, like a long one.
Yeah.
And then they will actually give you actual feedback, or like about if it's bad or that and such. And then there are those type of people who will actually search for the bad when actually there is no like a proper bad thing. There is nothing bad in the end. It's just about improving, as I said. But yeah, some people they just invent things. Sometimes it happens, but other times, it's about truth. And that's it. And in that case, it's quite hard for me to understand when they're telling the truth. um yeah, that's really like I can understand when someone lies, but when it comes to feedback, it's so hard for me to understand when they're toxic, when they're lying, if it's like a true heartfelt opinion or something, or like they're trying to help me to experiment more and grow such. It's just really hard, honestly. And yeah, I think the creative industries are really hard as always, like other industries and such. um but yeah, I did see like or hear about many toxic people in it, and I'm just trying to avoid them actually, like reading or like following them on Instagram because it's just the way. they actually are, just you don't want to follow them or something.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually, that's a great segue into something I think we wanted to talk about a little bit is sort of the presence of social media with,
Oh yeah.
our creative selves and how that sort of impacts us. And what's your experience with all that? You told me recently about something that you had experienced. So why don't you tell me a little bit
Oh
about
yeah.
that?
Oh yeah. Okay, let's start with this. This week I had a random action blog from Instagram. I couldn't follow, do anything, even post my creations. What I was annoyed from is that I couldn't post. I didn't actually care about liking. It was about posting because I really wanted to showcase my work. And I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do this week then? Like, no showcasing my work, just story, reels. Because strangely, I could post reels, but like not normal, posts and such. And okay, first of all, I got pissed,
Yeah.
then angry, then sadness, then I started talking with my friend, and she was like, take this week as a break from social media, I guess. And I was like, but yeah, what I'm gonna do? And she said, just what you do normally, Simran. And I was like, you know what? I will try to do that. And from there, I understood I had an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Is scrolling in my Instagram feed, and I didn't understand how bad it was. Um, every morning I would get up, do breakfast and such, and then sit there with my breakfast, look at the phone, scroll, 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 never ending scroll. I don't know, like I'm wiping my phone with my own finger while scrolling or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And I remember like clicking like until I would come, you're up to date, that notification that says you're up to date.
Yeah.
And I would do that constantly, morning, afternoon, evening, every day.
Yeah.
Like while breakfast, lunch, whatever, tea time, coffee time, chocolate time, whatever you want, just a break.
Right.
Dinner time, yes, dinner time, so bad. And actually, I eat my dinner in my room because actually in the evening time I'm really busy already, mostly because university work or just personal work, and can get really hard because already my family has weird pattern to eat, because some of them eat at work, other, well, they just come late from work so they eat later than me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that really. Dinner time is never together, honestly. It's just lunch or breakfast, honestly,
Yeah.
most of the time. So yeah, and my dad started saying, how bad it is, like for you to keep scrolling like that. And once he said, you're going to get an action block, and I hope when you get it, you will see how addicted you are. And it happened for this week.
Yeah. What exactly is an action block?
Oh, okay. So guys, when you get an action block, basically you just click on like button, or like you try to comment, and they're gonna say, you have an action block. The notification pops up. Okay, usually it's for like 2 days, 1 day or something,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it can be for 1 week if you're really unlucky like me, or like even for like 2 weeks or 1 month even. um but yeah, it actually happens when you spam likes, you keep unfollowing, you keep following too much, you spam comments. But honestly, I didn't actually spam likes. All I did was scrolling and just liking those posts that I like, just generally enjoy looking at reading or something. Um, but maybe what I was spamming, I think it was unfollowing toxic accounts, because yes, I do remember doing that last Friday.
Hmm.
Every Friday I just sit there and unfollow those accounts that are just, you know, they don't have the content you want to see, or they just make you feel sad or something. Everything, like just anxious, or just everything else. And I do that just to not see those things.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you also can get this action block when you use weed apps to like follow people or like have more likes. And
Oh,
I think
okay.
Yeah, it happens also for that. So don't use strange apps, kids, for your Instagram or any other social media, of course. Um, because it's also not worth it, because you're just going to get ghost followers and they're not going to actually like, or like, I don't say actually put a like on your post, but I'm actually talking about like and looking at your project or like creative thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just about liking, it's also about looking at it. Sometimes you don't need a like, it's about them looking at it. um but yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I didn't actually do any of that because, well, as I said, it doesn't make sense to me, like, so I think what happened is all about unfollowing, I believe. And it really pissed me off that I was unfollowing for my own mental health, I would say, because as I said, it does affect me following those type of account that affect me somehow, like they make me sad, make me anxious or something. Those type of account that post things that just makes you upset sometimes and they are wrong. So, or even like friends that support, unfortunately, Trump.
Right.
What I found about that like last week, and I was like, yeah, it's time to unfollow them and block some of them.
Oh,
I don't want them.
I've done the same exact thing, so I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
and I was so sad that Instagram did that just because I was doing it for my own mental health, and I was like, I'm not a bot. I'm not doing anything wrong. But then I was like, Simran, but how many like do you put in a day? I was like, I don't know. So maybe that got out of control as well. So maybe I was spamming actually likes, but I wasn't aware of it. Trust me, it can happen. Whenever like you are like that kind of person that keeps scrolling every day and puts like every day, at some point you will get an action block, even if you didn't like too many pictures or something. Um, but yeah, there are many rules behind it. I don't really fully understand the action block because I think this is the first time it happened,
Yeah.
I believe, to me. And I was quite shocked. I didn't quite understand, but I was like, yeah, I will just wait, whatever. I was just sad I couldn't post anything, but I was like, yes, but I can post reels to showcase my work or, whatever I'm selling in my Etsy shop or anything else, or just post about my creations in my stories, like showcase what I'm planning to do, what I'm doing, or my sketches, or anything I want to share, really, as usual. Um, but yeah, I just got blocked for 1 week, and
Yeah.
tomorrow finally I will be able, a night though. It's not like from tomorrow morning; it's a night actually. So I will actually be able to like unfollow again some pages from Sunday, and then finally I can post on Saturday. Um, yeah, I'm quite happy about posting again. Actually, I really wanted to showcase this video to my audience, and some people were like, "Where is Simran?" And I'm like, "Guys, I got an action vlog," and they were
Yeah.
like, "What is an action vlog?" I'm like, "Okay, I will explain, I guess." So I just did this many stories, but yeah, let's go to the core point now. Sorry for this long talk about the action vlog, and I think
No, you're
you
fine.
should understand why it happens. Um, but the thing is that, okay, so what I understood in this week was, of course, I had an addiction in scrolling, and without knowing, I was spamming likes actually. And by doing that, people were following me just because they wanted to like, because they wanted to see my creations. That did break my heart.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. It didn't affect me that much, honestly.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, okay, I'm not surprised, honestly. I wasn't surprised. I was like, Simran, it just happens. It's social media. What do you want about it? I was just accepting it, I guess. But it did like kind of make me sad, like, oh yeah, that they didn't just want to see a creation. They wanted a like and a follower, a Robert, that would like the post and that's it. And since this week, I lost lots of followers, and I understood that most of them were just people that wanted that like, and that I unconsciously gave while scrolling or something without even understanding that I was doing it constantly. And it was like, I think it was just an addiction. It's like an addiction you get, like you keep doing and you're used to it. And when you stop, it doesn't feel normal. On Monday, it didn't feel normal. But then I started feeling, I was like, okay, I think I can get this. I'm gonna stop doing it. I'm gonna try to my best to stop doing it. Like from now, not just after, from now. So I was like, no more feed, no more. You're gonna stop scrolling. It was hard, yes. It was like, it was just a nightmare, honestly, the first day. I was so addicted to it, like looking at each post,
Uh,
putting something, a like, a share, and then I started thinking about, how much time I spend on social media, how bad it is. And yeah, I wanted to still, keep following those people that, they post something that I really like.
mm-hmm.
So like a creation, I don't know, they talk about anxiety or something, or like a magazine or like a museum that I really like. So I did turn on the notifications so I wouldn't actually scroll in the feed, but only look at their post. So not actually, go back to that independent thing. But yeah, um, so yeah, I just sorted this thing, I guess now, and I think now I'm just off social media. Like, okay, of course I post in my story and I post normally in my profile, but I'm not going to stay there and put a like continuously and scroll every day. I think I broke the habit and now I feel even less anxious because before I had this anxiety that say, no, you need to go there, look at every feed until the end
Yeah.
and keep doing it every day or something. I had this, and because I believe that, oh, if you keep, doing that or like that and that, people will see your post a bit faster, maybe. Um, it
Yeah.
wasn't true. Of course, it wasn't true. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I just understood. If you see it not good for you, if you don't see it good for you, I guess. If you see it after 2 days, good for you and good for me as well. So I just was like, at least now you have more time to spend with your friends for your creations, for whatever you want really. And so I guess I broke my addiction with social media now, especially Instagram, because I don't use Facebook or Twitter, or like even Snapchat. I think the only social media I actually use is Instagram, and that's it. I wouldn't say YouTube because just watch videos, I guess, and that's it. Sometimes while creating something, I put a video on and
Right.
listen to it or something.
Yeah, I do um a lot of social media, but most of it is on Instagram or just posting to my own website.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was a thing for me for a while, was just obsessing over um, likes and
yeah, it was for me as well. Like I was like, I don't know, like if I didn't get an amount of like that was for me, like I didn't actually enjoy looking at the project. When actually maybe it wasn't even true. I just didn't see the post or something. And
yeah.
yeah, but then I started, breaking free from it. So now I'm okay if, someone follows me or something. And if someone stays, good. I mean, I guess that they like looking at my project, which is fine. I mean, by the end of the day, people are not going to look at how many likes you have, how many followers you have. They're going to look at what you create, the story behind it, and emotion. They're going to search for something that is going to stay in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
At least this is what I did experience. So yeah, and from this experience with social media, I started thinking about a photography project, of course, which is called well, I just sketched it today, but it's called Energy Sucker. Because this is how I felt. Like it
Yeah.
sucked my energy every day, and I didn't even understand it. Like I would feel so numb. Like, and why I did it is put like a questionnaire on Instagram. I think it was 2 days ago. I don't remember now. And asked people how they felt after using social media, Instagram, whatever they're using for like every day for an amount of time and keep scrolling to create this project. So like I would get inspired because I found out that I like interviewing people, I guess, to create my projects. So it's not only about me, but also other people.
Right.
So I put the community together or something. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I just want to create this project to showcase how actually it is, using social media and such. And I'm quite happy that I snapped out of this. And I hope I don't go back in it,
Yeah.
because I just don't want to do that again. It's really bad. I really need to stop doing this. Like keep scrolling in my feed and liking. But at least I stopped scrolling this week. I couldn't like, of course. So, it was a good action block. It wasn't bad. Let's be honest. It
Yeah.
was bad. It was bad only because I couldn't post. If I could post and put a caption, then that was good, of course. But yeah, it was good in the end as well. Like it helped me to understand that I had a bad addiction.
And that wraps up episode number 20. Like I said before, there's going to be more discussion with Simran in the future. Be on the lookout for that. I'll post more about that as I get that part of the podcast or that part of the recording ready to go. So I will post more the closer I get to releasing that one. Again, I really appreciate you listening to this. Please follow Simran. Her social media information is in the description. And if you really enjoy this podcast, follow me on social media for more updates about this, and also on my website, cipherimedia.com. Which should be also displayed in the video if you're watching the video. So I will be posting more very soon. Please stay tuned, and thanks again for stopping in to give this a listen or a watch. And I will see you next time.